Hey, what's up guys? Today I'll show you a disaster film, Pandora. Spoiler ahead, watch out and take care. In South Korea, the nuclear power station is the important mainstay to the local economy, which provides a lot of jobs to the people living in the town. Jae-hyuk works for the power plant, but he doesn't like it at all. He plans to resign from the station and work on a fishing vessel to make big money. However, due to his failures in business before, he used up all of the death compensation of his brother and father. His mother doesn't allow him to leave his hometown again. And his girlfriend, Yeon-yo, who has lost all her families, is also opposed to his plan about leaving for 2 years. She even thinks that this is the way Jae-hyuk intends to avoid their engagement. At the same time, the new president just receives a report from the number 1 reactor of the nuclear power station, and he realizes that there is something wrong with the number 1 reactor. So he asks the Prime Minister about it the next day, but the Prime Minister thinks that now for the local economy, it is better to speed up the construction of the nuclear power station, and the problem mentioned in the report isn't a big issue, so the President should not waste too much time on it. Later the Prime Minister learns that this report was presented by the station master, so the station master is soon transferred away from his position. But right after he leaves the station, there is a 6.1 magnitude earthquake striking the town. Considering that the leader doesn't know about the station very well, the station master comes back to the station. Facing the mess spread in the control room, he soon knows there is something wrong with the cooling system of number 1 reactor. The earthquake broke one of the valves. The station master tells the leader that in order to save time, a lot of equipment was put in use again, without being overhauled last time. So he suggests that it is necessary to let the residents take refuge first. But the minister goes furious about his suggestion, saying that he is not the master of the station, and asking all the other staff to come down with this problem. The cooling water begins to flow out from the crack on the valve, and the temperature rises rapidly. Now the only thing they can do is to repair the valve manually. But the workers are afraid of being exposed to radiation for too long, so they just weld the broken pieces together, instead of replacing the whole broken valve. But what they've done causes the explosion of pressure in the pipeline, which makes the highly radioactive cooling water rush out. Though the workers are evacuated out as soon as possible, but the painful groans slipping from their mouth recall Jae-hyuk the memory of his father and brother who died in the nuclear accident. He chooses to run away out of the fear rooted in his mind, whereas his friend Chubby decides to stay and help others. To respond to his call, a few workers rush into the place with Chubby. Meanwhile, the headquarters has sent a security team to deal with this accident. But the minister doesn't want to take his responsibility, so he just hides in a corner and lets the station master give instructions. However, just as the workers are planning to set up the spare pipe, the reactor happens to have a nuclear meltdown, which leads to the continuous production of hydrogen, so that the rise of pressure in containment buildings will cause an explosion. As the problem becomes worse and worse, the Prime Minister is also informed of the situation. He suggests that the station should vent the gas into the air directly, in a way that will make the residents living nearby in danger. Finally, the president makes an urgent decision that people who live the closest to the station need to evacuate first. At the same time, workers who are dealing with the problem in the station also learn the fact about the reactor. So they plan to leave there as well, but then they find out that the door is already closed, and they are trapped there. On the other hand, the pressure inside the reactor is rising, and the station master cannot wait anymore. He makes a decision to vent the gas, but it is too late. The reactor explodes with a lot of radiation spreading outside the world, and the station is ruined due to the explosion. The president learns the news, but he doesn't say a word. The Prime Minister intends to show his power, claiming in front of the media that there is just a small accident in the station, and telling the residents that the evacuation is just an emergency drill. After the accident, there are many workers buried down in ruins. But fortunately, Jae-hyuk doesn't get any hurt from the explosion, so he begins to help other people to get out of there. He sees his girlfriend Yeon-yo coming there for him, but there is still a lot of people waiting for his help. Therefore, he just stays and tells Yeon-yo to run away from the town with his family, and comes back to the rescue work again. However, the rescue teams who are sent there do not take any action due to their fear of the radiation. But inspired by Jae-hyuk, and learning of the horrible consequences, they soon begin to do the rescue work together. At the same time, Yeon-yo comes back to the gym, which is currently taken as a refuge, and tells the truth to everyone that the station has exploded, But when they plan to leave, they find the whole gym and even the cell phone signal are blockaded by military. Fighting hard to save the injured, Jae-hyuk unfortunately faints to the ground after engaging with excessive radiation. He is soon rushed to the hospital. The station master finds out the reason why the rescuer teams are so inefficient. They need to replenish fresh water from elsewhere to cool down the reactor, instead of using the seawater right here. He goes on to ask about that, but only to learn that using seawater may cause damage to the reactor, which is too expensive that it must be protected. Meanwhile, the rescuers who keep working at the accident site are also influenced by the radiation. But their effort to stop the meltdown is made in vain. What's worse, they find there is a crack in a storage pond, which is just next to the reactor, that soaks 400 tons of nuclear waste. It means that if the cooling water continues to leak away through the crack, there will be another explosion coming soon. Facing the urgent problem, there is no time for the president to cover up the truth. The panic haunting the country spreads rapidly among people. Thousands upon thousands of people rush to the airport and bus station, hoping to escape from this country. Even the military is in complete disorder. Knowing about the chaos, Yeon-yo unites other people in the gym to break through the blockade, and then she gets on a bus with Jae-hyuk's families, trying to run away from the panicking world, where rule and order have totally collapsed. In hospital, there is only a young nurse staying behind to take care of patients. Jae-hyuk wakes up and contacts Yeon-yo, telling her just to escape from the town with his families as far as possible. After being inspired by his wife, the president finally understands what he should do now. He seizes his power again, and calls to the station master for the current situation, and then allows the rescuers to use seawater to cool down the reactor. In this way, their rescue work in the power station goes efficiently. The problem of the reactor is resolved successfully. Now it turns to the crack in the storage pond, which needs workers to get there to repair. However, it is lethal to work in such an environment of excessive levels of radiation, which means the repair work needs a group of workers who are willing to sacrifice their life to do it. In despair, the president delivers a speech to the media, apologizing for his incompetence and calling for volunteers to do the repair work. However, Jae-hyuk and his colleagues in the hospital feel angry at president's speech, but Chubby says that they have only a little time to live after suffering radiation for so long. So it is better for them to do the work rather than just stay here. Jae-hyuk also worries a lot about Yeon-yo and his families. So he agrees with Chubby's words, saying that they are the only specialists who know the station and techniques well, and what they will do is for the safety of their families. Finally, other workers all volunteer to join the death journey. Then they make up a team led by the station master to the storage pond, and their action is broadcasted to the whole country. People soon learn that many of the volunteers lose their lives during the rescue. While the crack grows larger, it seems impossible to restore it. The failure makes people across the country fall into huge despair. At the critical moment, Jae-hyuk claims there is another way to prevent the explosion. That is to blast the crack and let the nuclear waste sink into the water below, which means to create a new storage pond. The station master regards it as a feasible plan, so he reports it to the president immediately and sets to execute it. However, in order to achieve their goal, the workers need to block the valve and detonate the bomb at the same time. So the one who is going to install the bomb will literally die there. Jae-hyuk is the only one who knows how to install the bomb. After a moment of silence, he takes the bomb and starts off on his mission. He manages to finish his work at last, but before detonating the bomb, he begs the station master to give him a chance to say goodbye to his families. He speaks through a camera on his helmet, pouring out his last words and emotions to his families, crying that why he can't live with people he loves. Then, he becomes calm again, and presses the detonator with determination. Due to the explosion, the nuclear waste sinks into the lower water, and it is finally sealed safely. Jae-hyuk's sacrifice brings a relatively peaceful end to the country. The event also makes governors ponder over their faults in dealing with the disasters. In the end, the station master and many other workers pass away due to the excessive radiation, but they will definitely live in people's memories forever. This is Daniel CC Movie Channel. Peace out.